What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Black Mental Health Podcast. I'm your host, Reg. Joining with me today is another very special guest. I would like to say that she probably was the inspiration behind this. Secretly, I don't know, behind this actual podcast. She was the first person that I knew that was actually trying to support our community and like my actual person. Of course, you got the celebrities out there that's doing their thing, but an actual physical person that I could like talk to, and she was doing plays, just going into the community, talking to kids, everything. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, but Miss Evita
Colòn, yes.
Cool. How do you?
How many people get that? They get that.
Colon.
Yes, and they got the little
accent. Accent over it. Miss Evita Colòn.
Yes. So I'm Evita Colòn. I'm the founder and owner of Speak to My Soul, and we are we're evolving, so I can't even say that we're just this one thing, but we are a creative arts movement that uses song, dance, and spoken word to elevate, empower, and educate our people, our community.
What made you like get into it? Because you were doing plays when you was in college, so did it start before college, or like what gave you that itch to like?
Before college? No.
Okay.
Like I was tripping before college. Like I was on some whole different type of time. But
right.
Like actually my first play was Speak to My Soul, Montage of Voices.
Okay.
So I brought that was the foundation of the organization. Like I really was empowered by the feedback from that one show, and I didn't even know what I was doing with the show. So the fact that people were like, can you bring this in the community, can you bring this to my school, can you speak to these girls, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this, like I can come out here. So that's how it started, and then it became a passion that I just could not let go.
So was it like a class that sparked it, or you just like was sitting in your dorm room and was like, you know what, I want to do a play?
Well, I always wrote spoken word. I've been writing spoken word since I was a kid, but writing poetry, performing spoken word since I was a kid. So once I was in college, I was known for, I did literally every event. Like they had me doing spoken word. And I was pregnant with my son. I was like, yo, I want to do something. I want to leave a legacy. So I'm like, I want to do a play. But I took Theater 101 in Shippensburg, and I just was like, I could do this. Like, this seems pretty simple. It's really not. It's really not. So yeah, that was where it came from.
Funny because it's the same thing. My urge for like communication and doing this stuff came from school, where I was sitting in a simple like interviewing class in communication. I'm like, there was so much that goes into an interview that's not like verbal, non-verbal communication. I'm like, I really like this stuff, like understanding the different quirks of like people and how they do their things. So I understand completely when you get that urge. So you did the play, you get the feedback. How, like, what was the next steps after that to take it to the next level? Like, what was that journey like?
Well, like as I said, I didn't know what I was doing. So this is me blindly just trying stuff out. My mom, she worked for the school district of Lancaster for years. So that was my first connect.
Okay.
Like plug me into a school or plug me into this event, and I was known around my community. So once I was known around my community for fighting and just being crazy out on these streets. So that's what I was known for in the community. So for me to come back with something empowering, they're like, wow, she really doing good for herself. They was like really open. It was like eating up everything that I was saying, like, because I was speaking to kids that were at where I was when I was in high school and in middle school and stuff. So I can relate to them. I'm not too far off from their age group and stuff like that, and I could speak their language. So telling the story and being like, yo, I changed these things, I've been through these things, and I understand where you're coming from, but like there's more out there than this. Okay. So to come back, like it was easy.
Right. Easy. And you were able to get the kids to listen, because you know when we was in school, we seen the people come and try to talk to us, and we ain't listen that much.
Right.
So you felt like you related to them when you actually, or you got through and talked to them.
Yes.
And it's hard talking to girls too.
It's starting to get harder, and I feel like maybe it's because I'm not so connected with some of the things. Like, I don't know a lot of the things that they're interested in. Like, I don't understand it. So I feel like I'm getting to that point where it's just like, I'm not really understanding why y'all like this stuff. But I try to stay connected. Like, I try to stay immersed in culture, even the parts of it that I don't like, so I can keep trying to connect with them.
It's hard too, because even like you said, when you make that change and that shift, you don't want to go and dive back into them same things that you were doing. But that's kind of like, you gotta understand them to get to them. Like, you can't go in there trying to preach to them, because they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Once you understand what they've been doing, it's like you can relate to them, but you get to a point where you separate yourself. That's why some of the music I don't like, but I understand why they like it. So I try to relate in that way. But like you said, it's hard to like.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Like, and it's hard for me not to be like, yo, y'all just not getting it. Like, you get frustrated with them at a lot. I'm not even gonna say at times. More than a little bit. You get frustrated with them. Like, yo, why are y'all like this? And I have to remember where I came from. I know people was talking to me, and I'm just like, alright, like, I got all the answers. So that's when I had to like start to shift from just talking to them to introducing them to an art, because all these kids, they want to express themselves. So it's just like, well, let me bring bars to y'all. Let me talk to y'all like this. And yeah, that's where we're at now.
Do you feel like that's a lot of the reasons why we struggle in our communities, is because we don't have ways to express ourselves? Because I feel like as young men, I understood that the reason why we do bad things is because we don't have nothing else occupying our time. So you start, what they say, an idle mind it starts to dull into things that it ain't supposed to do. So do you feel like we don't have enough arts and programs in our schools to let these students allow themselves to express them?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in my mom always encouraged me to express myself. So I was always allowed to be vocal about how I felt. Now, I had to come correct. But I was able to say, look, I don't like this. Or I don't like how this is. And we would have a conversation about it. And I think even with her generation, like, people probably thought she was crazy. Like, if you don't tell her to stay in a child's place or something like that. And there's really, you can't say that to children. Like, you know, you gotta stay here. You can't express yourself. Like, don't speak, you know what I mean? Don't speak around adults and that type of thing. So me having that type of upbringing, I guess it kind of set me up to be able to do what I'm doing right now. Like, I don't know if I remember there being too many arts programs, but I know now that the funding for them is getting cut like at rapid rates. And I feel like they are intentionally trying to take our voices away, because look at how many movements have came about from art itself. So if you're giving these kids all this, you know, all this power, then that's going to evoke real change, and they don't really want that. They want us to stay in this vacuum where we're not growing and all of that. So I think, yeah, we definitely need art programs.
When you said that your mom gave you the ability or allows you to speak, but like you said, keep it correct. You give that to your son as well, I'm guessing too.
Yes. Okay. And it's very difficult. It's so difficult because I have to remind myself why I'm trying to do it. But he will tell me, Mom, you made me sad. Mom, you made me sad. And I'll ask him, like, why? You can't just say that, you can't give me a feeling and have me understand. We have really adult conversations, and he'll say, you made me sad because you said this to me. So I'm starting to understand his personality and the things that kind of trigger him to upset him and things like that. And even when I'm speaking to him, if he acts up and I'm like, yo, you made me upset because you didn't listen when I told you to do this the first time. So it's just like giving him the space to express himself, even crying, something like crying. Like, there was a few times where like adult men would tell him, "Yo, stop that crying, cut that crying out." And I'm like, "Yo, what are you crying for? Are you crying for a reason? Did something hurt? Did someone hurt your feelings? Like, let's talk about why you're crying instead of you just crying because you're not getting something." You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's a thin line.
It's a thin line. It's a little annoying sometimes. Like, yo, you're crying again. Like, but you don't want to tell him like, yo, you can't cry. Like, boys aren't supposed to cry because we all know how that turns out as adults. So,
no,
it's something.
I spoke on an earlier episode about it where a woman was telling her kid to like stop bitching, stop crying, da 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 da. And I do the same thing with my son. Like even before I got here, he was crying about something. I forgot what he was crying about, and I'm like, well, go in the room and get yourself together. Like, I have no problem with you crying, but I don't want the world to know that, like, to try to take advantage of your emotion. You get what I'm saying? So you're allowed to cry. You can even cry to me. You can cry to your mom, but crying in public and letting them, like, you supposed to be strong, be a soldier. Like, you allowed to cry, get your stuff out there, but you gonna put that face on and fight with and say what's on your mind and express your feelings in a way where you don't have to always be so emotional about it. Like, express you okay? Like, you can express yourself.
And that's what I was trying to find, like, a medium between that, because he was crying, like he boxes, so there was times when he was crying in the gym, and I'm like, you can't do that. Like, there's all these men here, and all this. But I don't know, like, it's so, like, emotions are so complex, and children are so complex. Like, am I teaching him to mask his feelings, or I really don't know. But I do try to tell him in them spaces, like, you can't let them see you cry, because they're going to take it as you're weak. And then they're going to try to mess with you, and it's just so many things to worry about these young boys. But
and it's delicate, because you want to give him that freedom to express himself, but you also want to make sure, like, don't let these wolves take advantage of you. Like, they will, because they will. As soon as they get a little weak emotion, because it's like, my son has never seen, he don't remember me crying, but he's never seen me cry, but he knows when it's like, I can talk to him like, yo, I don't like what you did. That's what it was. He said, I told him to go in the room real quick because I was on the phone. He's like, I don't like you. I'm not giving you no hugs anymore. Like, what you just say to me?
It's hard not to react to that, right?
What you just say? All right, well, I don't like you right now, so I'm gonna take your tablet. I'm gonna turn the TV off, and now you sit in your room. And then he was mad, and then he was able to talk. But that's neither here or there.
Yeah.
So, you started the plays at school, and then now we're coming out of college. So now you have to take it into the world as well, instead of off. Now you're off the stage from school, and now you're on the stage in the real world. Talk about that journey a little bit.
Well, at first it was just like, I mean, if you know me from college, I was always really spontaneous. So, like, it was just like, I'm gonna try it. Whatever happens, happens. Like, it's whatever. So, people really started to take on to it and things like that. I started performing in different places, and I was just really humbled by the experience, the love that I was getting from people that have done it before me, have, Black women that have been in theater before me, and I was just getting a lot of love. But now, like, now that I look back at it, like, now I can't shake this. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Before it was just like, I'm gonna just try this and see if this works. I'm gonna feed them a little bit of this and see if this works, if they'll bite. You know what I mean? So it was a difficult transition, because then as I started to become more passionate about it, I didn't want to do anything else. And that's hard when you're trying to survive and things like that. So I've been doing this for 4 years now, and it's like really hard. It's hard for me to like keep a job and try to do this, because balancing both, I feel like I'm cheating myself of my purpose in life. I'm sitting here putting in all this work for you, and I could be putting the same type of energy and effort into my vision and growing in that type of sense. So I had a lot of issues with like jobs, like just even how people was talking to me. Like, I would be out, like you said, what? Be my second week. All right, let me get my check and I'm going. Like,
man, you sending chills on me, because you're literally defining who I am right now. Like, I can never keep a job because of that same reason. Like, I know. First of all, my one thing is always, and if people follow me on social media, they always know I was talking about having a job and all that, and how if they can pay you 17, how much are you really worth?
Right.
That you have to be making at least triple that for them to want to pay you that in the first place. So now I don't like when you could tell me when to go on vacation, or you could tell me when or not when I can go with my son, or when I can spend time and even go to the bathroom. Like, I can't go to the bathroom for that. So I know, and mind you, I'm not against job, because people need to work. You need to provide. You need to take care of your family. So I'm not against it, but you just know where you're not able to be at. Right. Like, you know that they're stifling you, and they, like you said, as a man too, talking to me that type of way, and it's like, nah, that's not gonna fly. I'm gonna just humbly bow out, quit a job in a minute. Once I had my son, I had to like,
right. It's different.
I had to humble myself.
It's different. I'm just starting to find a balance, but I started working in like special education, so I really love working with that population. Like it fulfills me rather than working in this. I've tried everything. I've literally tried factory. I've tried retail. I've tried everything, and I'm just like, yo, like y'all really got me out here. Y'all got me chopped. Right. So I found myself in a lot of jobs working on Speak to My Soul. Like I'm letting a whole shift go by and I'm just working, like writing down ideas, like setting up all types of stuff, and I'm like, dang, why can't I do this when I'm at home? Like, I don't know, it's just something about a job that just motivates me not to be there.
Was it like depressing, like, because I know me, I had like many a nights like just struggling, like why can't I get paid to do what I want to do? And now I'm like mad at the fact that I gotta go to work, and it's creating anger within myself because I'm not allowed to do what I want to do, and you get frustrated, and it make you want to just like give up everything because it's like I cannot do what I want to do, and why is the world putting this on me like this? And you start getting mad at everything else, and it's like I don't know if you had that same struggle, but
all the time. My previous job, I was working at a school in South Philly as I was like, I don't know, what was the work? I was just working with kids with like ODD and all that type of stuff. So that's like they're defiant, and it was just crazy, the whole setting, the school setting. So knowing me and my views, my political views about the system and all that kind of stuff, like to be in a school like that is already heartbreaking because you're seeing teachers, you're seeing administrators, you're seeing people that work in this school that just don't care. And then you see the kids and you know the stuff that they're going through at home, and they so angry. But as with my job, I wasn't allowed to talk to them on a Speak to My Soul type level, which I would keep it a beam with them. But yeah, so I was working at this job, and it was making me so sick. Like I was literally getting sick. My stomach, I was having stomach issues. I either was eating too much or wasn't eating at all. Like I was irritable at home. I was just arguing. I was just so, I didn't have no time for anything because this job was just, I really resented the fact that I had to wake up the next day to go to this job every day. And then toward the end, before I quit, like I started to talk to the kids on a level like, look, I probably won't get fired for telling you this, but there's these teachers in here don't care about you. So you got to meet me at a level where I can help you out. And then I'm getting into it with other administrators, like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you teaching these kids like this and you know they're not going to learn? So it's just like, I was like, yo, I can't work in a school in this capacity because I was like, I told the school, I said, if y'all want to work with me, I could bring a program into your school that will really help these kids if you really want to help the kids. But at the same time, like, they don't want to pay for that. They don't want to pay for it. And it's just like, you have to find a fine balance between doing stuff for charity and still making your, making ends meet. So like right now I'm just in a space where it's just like, yo, I cost this much money. These schools have funding for a lot of stuff that they waste money on. But I feel like it's not really beneficial to the growth of the child or student that's there. So it's just like, yeah, it's an ongoing process. Like I'll let you know when I finally conquer that. But it's just, I mean, finding a healthy balance. I just had to find a job that makes me feel well and still fills my cup rather than draining me. And I feel like I'm doing what I love for free and it's not being appreciated.
All right.
And I might get fired for it.
I got you. Yeah. So it's a struggle getting into schools. I realized that going into it, like I said, I want to start talking at schools, but then I'm realizing these schools don't have funding for these type of programs of talking. And like they like actually when you said that, it actually brought like something to my attention. Like damn, I gotta find a way to get in these. If I'm going to do it for charity, then just do it for charity. Don't try to charge because they don't want to pay you for that.
Yeah.
But then there are places out there that are willing to pay. You just gotta figure out where's the money at, and you gotta like go do it. Do you struggle with? That's the question I want to ask. Do you struggle with wanting to help your people but charging them at the same time? Because like I feel bad like charging people knowing that you want to help them, but then I look at it like they buy Nikes.
Exactly. So like when I first started, everything was free. I was happy to get a check from the joint. Like somebody was like, I got a little check for you, $50. I'm like, $50?
right.
So it's just like me not knowing my worth at first. And then I started getting hit with me asking, like I was asking for a minimum, like, yeah, I'll come for $50 or whatever, because you know, somebody charge you that, you can charge other people that.
Right.
So people were like, nah, I don't have $50 for you. But then I see them pay somebody with a bigger name that's not from where you from to come in and speak to them. I'm like, yo, so you ain't had 50 for me, but you got 3,000 for them.
Right.
So it's just like, now I'm starting to see that, like even in my own community, like there's been times where they'll say, well, you know, since you charge, then we'll just get somebody else, and they'll pay somebody like triple what I've asked them for, and I'm like, yo, for real, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm the better person for the job. But if you want to pay for that, then that's what you gonna get.
Right.
Like I've been through my stuff with people and the whole paying thing. I just try to discern what I'm going to support and for free and things like that. Like some people I do really want to help, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do this for free.
Right.
But some people just want to like pull from your gift and drain you of everything that you have without pouring back into you.
Right.
So like if I'm doing something for free, like how are you helping me out? And it's not even like anything material. Like there's been people that like I've helped them out because maybe they said something to me to motivate me, and it was genuine. I'm like, yo, how can I help you?
Right.
Like, and it's everything should be reciprocated in some type of way, whether it's energy, sometimes it could be money, sometimes it can be, you know, things and services, but we're all supposed to take care of each other.
Right.
And when somebody is just trying to pull from you and they're not trying to like give back into you, then yeah, that's a problem. And I've dealt with it with like community programs, sometimes churches, and churches, and I'm just like, no, like I have to draw the line somewhere. Like you just have to discern.
So does that discourage you from even wanting to do like certain things because of that? Like going into, I look at it like rap. Most of these concerts are white people in the crowd at these concerts. Black people don't come out and like they go, but they don't buy music. They want it for free. Right. So, and not all, of course, but mostly if you look in the crowd, you'll see most of the white people. So it's like, who am I really doing this for? Right. Like I'm putting this out, and who am I really doing this for?
I think the first time I was paid for something, it was from my own people, and that really empowered me. Okay. So I get discouraged with my people, but I don't give up on them because that's where my first payment came from. And they say, look, sis, you're worth this. Like, you know, keep it going. And I wasn't even expecting anything in return. But when it came to paying me what I asked for, exactly what I asked for, no negotiation, it has been white people, to be honest. And I don't know if it's because they just have it, and they know how to get it without having any questions asked, where we might ask for, well, we want, you know, X amount of dollars for this person, and then it's like, well, why do you want this person? You know what I mean? So I don't really know. I just, you know, just stay in the straight with my people.
I ain't gonna hold you. A lot of people, I feel like with you have a big enough brand as far as like what I'm trying to word it right. You should be bigger than like Spike Lee, like all of the people.
It's my tribe.
Like all the people that you met and you talked to, like you have the worth that if you can get certain people eyes on you, then I don't know why, but I feel like because we have such a crab in the barrel mentality that needs to be broken, that they don't want to feed into. I don't know, it's like, it's hard for, I'm learning that way as a man, like a lot of people don't want to support what I'm doing almost because they don't feel like you should be in that position a lot. And they want to tear you down because they feel like they deserve to be in that position. And I kind of look at it as, we don't know better, so we don't do better. So I don't take it personally. I read some book, it was like, yo, you can't take everything personal because what's the intent behind it? And then if you actually look behind the intent of what someone is doing, then you'll be like, all right, well, I'm not going to take their actions too harsh as much as, because I know they probably just don't know what they're doing.
When I first started, I wasn't really happy with who I was as a person. And for me to be so motivational and inspirational to other people, I'm like, dang, am I really selling them some stuff that's not real. So it took up until my second show, the one I did in Lancaster, and then I really started to just dive into who I was as a person and where I wanted to be growth wise. And it really took, because I had anxiety about it all the time. Like, dang, do they know that I'm genuine? Like, I was really asking myself these questions. Like, maybe they don't think I'm genuine. Maybe they think I'm trying to use them, or this is fake or whatever. And it's always been genuine. It's just I wanted to grow, and I knew where I wanted to be as a person, but it was just the fear of breaking out of certain habits and getting there. So, yeah, I forget where I was going with that. But
sorry, you sparked the question anyway. Talk about motherhood and how that balancing that while like you said, you still had to balance having a job, you still had to balance your dream, you still had to balance even being human, where it was a juggle probably holding up all these balls in the air at the same time. Right. So how do you, because I know for me it's a struggle, like still, and when you got yourself to provide for it, it's alright, like you struggle or whatever, but when I got a fiance, I got a 6-year-old, and now I got a baby, it's like, that's pressure in itself, and people will say like, oh, Reg, you doing good, like, it's like, bro, I got a lot going on in my head too, and I try to, like you said, lean towards more of the motivational side. It's like, am I living up to what I'm saying? Like people judging me, So I guess talk more about like your mental state with juggling all of those roles at the same time.
Well, originally, I kind of left this out, but the original reason I started Speak to My Soul was because I was pregnant with I did say that I wanted to leave a legacy for my son. After I had him, like, I was in postpartum depression really bad. So like that kept me busy. Like anytime I started to feel low, like I literally had him and I'm like breastfeeding him and writing the script at the same time and still doing my work and all of that kind of stuff. And looking back on it, that was really crazy for me to have to be doing all of that and still trying to function as a normal person. So for him, like, I felt like me making Speak to My Soul as big as it should be, like that was my driving force. But at the same time, I didn't know how to separate myself from Speak to My Soul. So I'm finally there where Speak to My Soul isn't something that is just something that I need, like therapeutically, that I'm just like so invested in it and I'm avoiding escaping everything else. But it's hard because I was trying to raise him. And a lot of the things, like, I think Speak to My Soul helped me raise him at the same time, because like he was learning lessons about humanity and just meeting different people from different backgrounds, and it just helped me out. It really helped me, and it helped with the depression because like I didn't feel so idle. But when it stopped, I'm like, dang, what am I going to do next? So it would kind of help me out. It really helped me.
You kind of like built a persona that you could like go dive into to escape like kind of the reality almost. Like I get it, because even now my son joked with me, like me and my girl was just talking about it. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna tell mommy you cheating on her. You was in that interview with the girl, you was interviewing the girl, and you told the girl in the interview you love her, and he don't know that that's his mom friend that I'm interviewing, but it's like he's watching, and like you said with the whole leaving a legacy, he's watching. He's like, so every day I pick my son up from school, he's like, well, how was your day? Did you do an interview today? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, what y'all talk about? So he's, like you said, having them adult conversations, and he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm like, all right. He's watching, so now it kind of puts some pressure on you that you got somebody watching your every move too. And it's like, all right, what am I going? Like, I got to make sure I'm on point at all times, and it's a struggle. Like, it's a struggle in a sense.
It is. And they'll catch you. They'll be like, they'll catch you slipping. Like, Mom, you said this. I'm like, you right. You right. Like, sometimes I don't even know how to navigate those type of situations. Like,
I know personally that you went through like some other struggles with Speak to My Soul, like growing the brand, like even people stealing your ideas from, like, you, I think off air you talked about like people that was actually your castmates, like having problems with them. Just how was that, managing that and going through those struggles with that?
I think that definitely is just part of the process. Like, I mean, I know it's a part of the process. I started off with a team of my friends, and it was good. But as I said, I wasn't in the right space mentally for me to be like, you know, trying to. I'm not trying. I did take on a lot, and those people that are also my friends and my family, they were also going through their own stuff. But I was still trying to protect my brand.
Right.
So I'm like, look, I don't like what you're doing right now, because now you my friend. I know what you're doing on the side. I know all of your business. You know all of my business, and I can say I don't like what you're doing. So you got to fix that, or you can't be a part of this.
Right.
So in having those conversations, these are my friends, and they looking at me like, who do you think you are? So it's just like, you know what I mean? There was just a whole shift, and then my whole lifestyle changed, and I feel like everybody knew what was going on, but they didn't know what was going on. So when I started to date Solis, then it was like, dang, so you gay now? Like, what's up? I feel like you really just going through something. And I'm like, yo, y'all know me. Like, y'all, this isn't new. And I felt like everybody was like on some wild stuff. It literally came down to them telling me, you gotta pick Solis or Speak to My Soul. And I'm like, Speak to My Soul is mine. Right. So I mean Solis is still here. But it just became a situation where it was too much business and personal being mixed together, and it kind of shook the grounds of people I love. Like, and still to this day I love them. It's just like, it's really hard. Like, you have, if you're going to come into something like with people you love, you're going to come into business with them, you really have to like set the parameters and make clear the expectations, things like that. And since I was growing and learning at the same time, it was just like the people I was growing with, I don't think they understood, like, you know, what I was trying to do. At some points I didn't understand what I was trying to do. I was just trying to figure it out. And yeah, I had to disconnect from a lot of people just to keep protecting the brand, because at the end of the day, I did make this for DJ. So I take it personal if you're going to do something that's destructive to my brand, and you just have to be that way.
I don't know how far you want to dive into it, but what was their gripes about you being with Solis?
Yes, I was about to get married, and I felt like I was with my ex since I was 18. So like, I felt like I grew into a space and we just was not growing together, to the point that I didn't really see a future together. But it was just that perfect, you know what I mean? It was always that perfect image, but behind the scenes it was so toxic. So it was something that was really like messing me up mentally, and I needed to be out of. But since everyone looked up to that relationship, they're like, stay in it. And I am about to like get married, and it's, you know, things are just not working out, and it's not what I want. So I think that was one of the bigger things. They like, yo, you're tripping. Like, I'm telling you as your friend, you're tripping. And I'm just like, are y'all tripping about my sexuality? Are you tripping about me as a person? Because there was a lot of toxic stuff that I was doing at the time, and nobody wasn't checking me on it. Right. So when I met her, I met her through the show. But 3 days after the show, I tried to commit suicide. And I just sold out 2 shows. 3 days after that. So I'm at the top. Like, everybody think I'm on this high and all this stuff. And that was the danger of me using Speak to My Soul as an escape. Because I was on a high when I was working on it, and when I wasn't, then I had to face real life. And it was just too much for me. So like, our friendship had built into something else, and it just was too much for people. One, because they thought I was going through a phase, and I just don't see how that was a phase. Like, whatever. But I was going through a phase. You know, I wasn't mentally well, and I was just making bad decisions, and I was doing stuff that would jeopardize my brand. Now, to be honest, when I first started to talk to her, and I wasn't in the right space to even entertain anybody. Like, I was just, not that to say I was a bad person, but I was so broken that I could not give to anybody in a way that would be fulfilling to them. So I hurt her when I first started to talk to her. And I was worried that she was going to out me. And I was like, yo, we gotta shut it down. Like, I don't even know what we gotta do, but like, she gonna tell the world that I'm gay, and I'm not ready for that. And just her being a friend through that whole situation, like, of me trying to find out who I really was, and me trying to get into a space where I'm comfortable with me without worrying about everybody else's opinions, because their opinions were so suffocating to me at the time. And I'm like, yo, y'all know I just tried to commit suicide, and y'all sitting here telling me I'm this, that, and the third. Like, what led y'all trying to push me off of?
Right.
So I think it was just that. Like, I think they had those fears for me as well. Like, I think it was out of love. Like, you know what I mean? I'm scared. They scared for me that I'm gonna go through this, that, and the third. But I mean, it all worked out, man.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Right? No. It is. So what made you? I don't want to say his name again because I feel like I said it. But what made you know that he wasn't the person for you and Celise was?
Well, our whole relationship was toxic. Like, it was just toxic from the beginning. And I don't know. Like, there was something that told. Like, I think we tell girls, and sometimes we tell the guys, like, you gotta stick it through with people despite, you know, what's going on and all that kind of stuff. And I grew up in, like, homes where, and I'm saying homes, I'm talking about like my intermediate family, where women had endured so much. So I'm learning, like, this is how I'm learning how to love other people. Like, just endure this, that, and the third. And we both came from really traumatic past and things like that, but all of that was coming toward each other. So it was just like, I had to learn how to just, you know, wipe off tears and then invite people in our house the next day, to the point that I'm like, yo, we can never get along by ourselves. Everybody has to be here for us to be in a good space, and that's not healthy. And it just was like, I started to be fearful of my future with him. And then with her, it was like, I would talk to her about things that bothered me about myself, and she was more focused on changing. Like, if you want to be this person, or you don't like these parts of you, then change it, rather than just letting everything go. Like, it's okay, you're gonna be all right. It was like somebody that was like being very critical of the things that I didn't like about myself, and it just was like, yo, I like that. I need that. I need somebody that's going to check me sometimes, because it's just, I'm a lot.
And it's crazy because I'm vaguely, like, it's been 10 years since we've been, damn near 10 years since we've been in college, but I remember, like, you and him, like, being, and y'all did have, like, the perfect, like, image of, like, but they are two different people from what I can tell from a little bit of me and Celise, and knowing him. He was more of like the back burner, and she looked like she's like the front runner, like like she still let you be you, but control, and like give advice, like and I feel like you said, I struggled with that too early on. When I first had my son, I wanted to be there for my son, and it's like if you would have told me that we would be where we at today, I would have told you we wasn't gonna be here 7 years ago, because we've been together 7 years, because we arguing like two different completely people, and trying to make it work for the sake of our child. And I had to be man enough to say, I'm willing to not fight with you, but still be there for my son. So we had to come together and, like, you know, we're better off like figuring each other out first before we try this relationship. So we had to become friends again first, and build from there. And now that's the relationship that everybody sees. But like you said, behind the scenes, so much toxic stuff going on that people won't even think to, like, even imagine. So when they encourage you to stay in something like that, it's like it's very toxic. Like, y'all don't gotta go home to this every night, and y'all just forcing me to stay here where I don't want to be. So listen, I commend you for like.
It was hard. It was hard because I did try to have those conversations with him. Like, you know, I even had a conversation with him about liking girls and stuff. But it just was like, there's so many times I'm gonna meet you at this table and we're gonna talk about these problems, and we're gonna keep talking about the same thing, and there's no growth. So once I started to really step away from that and see that, I'm like, this isn't what I want.
It's not going
this, I'm not seeing, like, for me to be fearful of my future with you, this is not what I want, and I gotta pull out of it. And that was literally me risking everything. Like,
you had an image.
So and then people told me, they was like, so you ready to, like, mess up your image and all that stuff. I'm like, y'all acting like I'm Beyonce. And even so, like, so what? Like, my happiness, and I really started to look at DJ, and at the time I was so happy I couldn't give to him. I was just so angry. Like, I wanted to be a better mom to him. I felt bad the way that he was wanting my attention. I'm like, yo, just go. Like, and so it was just like, I needed to be in a better space to make him happier. And he is so happy now. Like, I don't regret any of those decisions that I made.
It gets hurt, and it's hurt to keep sending your kid to your room, like just going
exactly, because you need time, right?
Just like even what y'all going through is like, and that was another thing too. I had to stop letting him see me argue, like, and then he'll think that's how you talk to women, and that is like, bruh, like, yo, you gotta check yourself. I had to literally check myself. And I like I said, I commend you for like choosing your happiness over that. Speak to my soul. It's up and running. You got it going. You're going through your struggles.
Yes.
You creating products. You putting it out there. The world is seeing it.
Yes.
I know that you had a problem with like people taking your ideas and stuff going in and not getting the credit for like a lot of the stuff that you were putting out to the world. Like, how did that make you feel? Like, I guess give us a little insight of what's going on with that.
I'm just getting back into it. Like I told you, I haven't really done anything with Speak to My Soul. We dropped a video, but that was, you know, it wasn't anything live. I haven't done anything with Speak to My Soul for a year. So October, I did like I did a play called Purple Cross or Blue Skies, and I felt like all of I was just so drained, just trying to make something happen. And at the same time of the show, like I was going through personal stuff. I started seeing stuff that looked like Speak to My Soul, but worded differently. Like, you know what I mean? And these were people that I cared about, and I'm just like, yo, y'all know how I am about this. Like, and it's hard for me. Like, I always, like, I joke with people, like, yo, if I see my stuff out there, I'm gonna run up on somebody. Like, that's just how you feel about it. But it just made me want to stop. Like, I completely stopped. I was like, I'm not putting out no content. I'm not doing anything at all, because every time I put something out, is being taken from me, and they're passing it off as theirs. Now, I wouldn't mind if I was like credited for it or something like that. Like, you know, you inspired me and I came up with this, but it wasn't like that. So I did shelf it. I shelved it for a year, and I had like just recently, maybe like this week, last week, I said like, when I first started Speak to My Soul, I wanted to be a vessel for artists of color to do what they love. And I probably forgot what I asked for, because I am being the vessel. People are coming to me and they're being inspired, and they are doing what they love. And sometimes they use my blueprint, but that's what I asked for. As an artist, like, when you put your stuff out there, you're making yourself vulnerable for people to take and be inspired and things like that. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to be upset by it, but in some capacity, like, I just wanted people to like say like, yo, thank you, you inspired me, and I came up with this. But yeah, and then I seen them eating off of my stuff, and I'm not even eating like that, and I'm like, yo, what's up with you? So yeah, it's
two things. You can take it how you want to take it, but I've learned, because I feel the same way. Like, I'll do something and I start to see like people doing it too, that like even close people that you know, and they'll start to do it too. And I look at it as, what's the word? Not inspiration, but that's a part of what I'm trying to say. Like, they are influenced by you. So you know that you created that, so you're supposed to just get the satisfaction, like, off of that. Like, you don't, because you're not doing it for the credit in the first place.
Right.
So you would like your credit, and you would want to get it, but you're not looking for it. And everybody deserves it. Not even saying that. And I also know, because I know you have that same mind that I do, I'm gonna create it again. You gonna steal this one, and I got 20, 30, 40 others coming behind it. I was worried about that with my book title. It's called Suffering into Success. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to say it because people are gonna steal it. They're gonna try to trademark it. They're gonna do all that stuff.
You're limiting yourself as an artist.
Exactly. I'm like, go ahead. I got that book title, but I got 40 more. So if you take that, it's like, it's cool. You got it. Like, all right, you can have it. And then I also was listening to somebody, and they were saying like, if you put your art out to the world, it's no longer yours anymore. Because you're opening and you're looking for somebody to critique and judge it. So it's not yours anymore once you put it out there. Anyway, it's theirs. And if and it was harsh for me, because they was like, well, once you if you wanted something like that, keep it to yourself. It was somebody making music, and it was like they didn't. I think it was they was talking about what's the not? I don't want to say what I'm about to say. Eminem. And he and Justin Timberlake. It was Eminem and Justin Timberlake, and they last albums that they put out. And then I think Justin went like country, or and Eminem, I don't know what his was, but they said that this album was for me, and it was like, well, if it was for you, you should have kept it. Like we're fans of you, like you gotta give us something that we want to get. Yeah. But I looked at it as like that, like, you know what, this is y'all can have it. Like I see that I'm influencing y'all and motivating y'all, so y'all can have it. But I understand how you feel, because do you want to say what people are out there taking, or no? You don't want to show.
No, it's just like the concept, like the concepts, and like how I put things together. Even how like I ran my business at sometimes. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I feel like it's just the whole, I don't know, it's just the whole speak to my soul thing. Like I've let people sit in on meetings. I sat with people and tried to help them out, and it's just like I felt like I was being taken advantage of.
They siphoning off your creativity.
Yeah, but I could say that I don't feel like a lot of it was out of ill intention.
100%.
So I feel like there are people that do stuff and they don't realize that they're doing it. And I've sat down with these people and I told them, like, you know, this makes me uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's just holding the conversation and holding people accountable. Like, and finding out, like, did you know that this was the same thing or no? So I've had those conversations, and now I'm just like, look, whatever, I'm gonna put this out, and you do have to have confidence in your work. Like nobody's gonna do it like me.
100%.
So, yeah.
You could take the title, but when it's time to like actually put that work in behind it, like I've got the 30 other connecting ideas that will make this work. Yeah.
But I do move very carefully. Like I've made people sign everything.
In the end,
everything is in black and white. Family, like you working with me, okay, sign this. And basically it's just protecting my intellectual property.
That's true. And I need to start, but because I'm doing it with close people. But no, you just told me that with the podcast, like people will get mad at something that they said, and then they could probably try to come after me, or they were saying like I should start putting out, like making people sign contract before they get on the podcast, absolutely. Because it'll like, but I didn't get there yet. I need to get there, but most of the time people have been reaching out to me, so I guess that's my like writing, almost like, look, they said they didn't want to come on here, but whatever. I did have a question of did you ever run into the problem, because I knew Bob Marley had it, J. Cole never had, but like being light skinned and into like people saying like, oh, she's not dark enough to be talking about black causes and that type of manner.
Yeah, I mean, I've run into that often because my last name is Colòn. So they're like, you know, you Puerto Rican Spanish, like you know what I mean? And then sometimes it's not even being said, but I've seen me not being acknowledged in certain spaces, the hotep spaces, because I didn't look dark enough and things like that. And it's not to say like I have this horrible life because I'm light skinned, because we all know that there's a light skin privilege and that's there. But there's been times where like I've always felt like I have to validate myself as being black. Like I did this one, I think it was a show, I don't know what it was. I did something at Millersville. I'm just gonna say it was Millersville because I'm a ship, you know what I mean, came from a ship. So I did a talent show at Millersville, and I wasn't originally, I was like, I ain't about to, I don't compete with my art. I take it way too personal for me to even come in second. So I was just like, look, I'll just compete, like whatever. So when I did my piece or whatever, you know, I was just talking, it was a very pro-black piece, everybody liked it. I won first place. The bull he was just like straight like heckling me, like, and he was the host. I'm like, dang, this is coming from the host, like he not showing no love. And he was like, are you even black?
Wow.
And I'm like, yo, fight me, bull. Like that was just like how I felt about it. And it was just like, but he really tried to make a mockery out of me in front of all of these people, like a whole audience of people. And I'm like, I started to go into, I was like, well, I'm Afro-Latina and all this stuff. I started giving him the history. He basically cut me off and was like, oh, well, we can save the history lesson. And I literally, like, I'm trying to get my life together, but I really wanted to fight bull. Like, you're drawn.
Right.
So I was just like, yo, people just want they can say what they want. Like, there's always gonna be people. My mom is black. My dad is Puerto Rican. Like, I don't have time to stop and prove myself to every single person that says something about it. But I get it. I feel it. But yeah.
Do it discourage like your work and like how you move forward, or?
Nah, it doesn't discourage me. It just pisses me off, and that is the fuel for how I write. So like when I'm pissed, I don't know if people do it. I know they don't do it intentionally, but when it comes to this art stuff, I will air you out like in the most eloquent way. So it's just like, I don't know if you really want to piss me off. It's just going to make me elevate more. But yeah, it just pisses me off. They just upset me. Like, why are people like this? That's just...
What? Since it's a mental health podcast, what's your perspective on mental health in the Black community? Because you're in here in the field doing the work. Like, what's your ideas? What do you see? Like, your whole overall opinion on mental health in the Black community?
It definitely needs, like, we gotta take the stigma off of it. Period. Like, there's so many things that I've learned about myself and my family, and other people. Just as far as the Black community and mental health, we are a traumatized people. Like, just it's almost in our DNA. Like, all the stuff that we have been through, our ancestors to us now, and the things that we always have to endure, like, it's there. But we are taught, and we were told that we just gotta push through. And I wrote a poem about it. It's called For Black Moms That Consider Suicide When Strength Isn't Enough. Because we're taught to be so strong that we are not addressing these problems. We're not talking about them. So even when I had tried to commit suicide, and it's still hard for me to like even admit that. But it's because like some people really, some of my friends, some of my family was like, yo, why would you do something stupid like that? And it's just like, you just don't understand like how that will make somebody feel, or even everything leading up to that point. Because I wasn't one of those cases where I just kept everything to myself. I literally reached out to people, breaking down in tears outside of practices to speak to my soul joint, like, yo, I don't feel well, like something is wrong, I feel lonely. And I'm sitting here voicing, and I was hearing, just pray, just do this, you know, do you want to come to church? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do none of that. Like, I just need somebody to listen and stop giving me these trivial as like solutions. It's not helping me out. So you know, just, I think we need to be educated more on it, because we need to know what it looks like when somebody's going through something. It's just not just depression. Like, some things are like bipolar disorder. It's like a chemical imbalance, you know, and all of this ties into each other as far as, you know, eating well, like all of that stuff. Like, I'm very keen to eat healthy and treat my body as the temple it is. So like, we have to know how to eat well. We need to know how to balance all of those aspects of our lives so our mind is right. But I feel like we're starting to step on some stones to get there.
You're right, and that was one of the reasons why I started this podcast, because like you said, it's a stigma that needs to be broken, but everybody doesn't want to jump out the window and go to therapy. Right. So there's a middle ground where we got to start making it comfortable and cool to talk about. Like, even now, like, people will see me laugh at certain things or like joke around, and it's because I'm not a therapist. Right. I understand what Kevin Hart meant when he said laugh at my pain, because we got painful stuff going on, and the only thing you can kind of do is joke about it a little bit to make yourself feel good. Right. So it's like, all right, we need to create the space, and everybody in their own way, like you said, with you talking about that, now a person will feel comfortable coming to you and saying like, listen, I feel the same pressures, like I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and I feel the same way. I text everybody in my phone when I felt like I was going to commit suicide, and I was on a bridge, like sitting there waiting. If anybody knows, on the boulevard, it's a little bridge, like in the middle of the boulevard, and I was like, yo, I couldn't do it, but my friends came and got me, and I texted them, I'm like, listen, take care of my son, I'm about to jump over this bridge. That's a very real feeling, and it's like, you don't want to hear that pressure, like, people don't understand, you just want the pain to stop, and you don't know how to make it stop, so you just, the way you make it says, like, maybe if I'm just not here anymore, the pain will stop, and it's a lot of things we have going on in our head that if we knew how to like get coached in how to dance, like you said, you've learned to separate yourself from Speak to My Soul to make your sanity and like make sure that doesn't give you your power, but you had to learn how to separate the two. Didn't nobody teach you like, yo, this is how you do it.
Often we have to learn as
on mistakes. Like and it's like it's hard when your parents are supposed to, and I had to remove my mother and my father and realize that they're just people. Like you put that role next to their name and you have high expectations, but when they don't live up to the expectations, you start to feel some type of way, and it's like, bro, you just, at some point it comes to a time where you got to take control of your life and learn how to manage your life on your own, but you still want somebody to teach you. And they think once you're 18, 21 that you're an adult and you can handle it. It's like, no, I still need some nurturing. Like, nobody told me about taxes. Nobody told me about saving, a mortgage.
Why are y'all like this? Y'all teach me nothing.
Like, we spent all this time in school and we ain't get none of it now. So you looking at your parents like, all right, you supposed to coach me and do all of that stuff. But like, to circle back, like you said, we are going through some things in our community that it's still hidden. As much as and we talked off air about it, like, it's cool to have a mental struggle right now, but I don't think nobody's really saying their real struggles. Like, they're saying the stuff that'll look cool on paper, but you ain't gonna tell somebody you was behind the scenes cutting yourself.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't know what made it trendy to have some type of mental disorder. Like, it's real live stuff. Like, you know what I mean? When somebody says, you know, you're being bipolar or whatever, like, that's somebody's real diagnosis. So like, I used to say stuff like that, and now it's just like I kind of scale back from that because I know people with the disorder that are struggling with that, and I know how you have to fight so hard. Even with me, with depression and anxiety, I literally have to fight. There's days that I have to get up like, yo, you're going to get through. And that's another reason, like, Solis is such a perfect match for me, because sometimes it's a lot for her, because I'm asking her to be therapist, be girlfriend, be everything, and it's hard, you know, to get somebody to be emotionally available for something that they don't understand. But even there's days that I can feel like I'm feeling really down, I'll text her like, yo, I don't want to get up today. And she'll just be like, okay, that's okay. I'm like, oh, I just cried all morning, I didn't do anything, I'm not productive. She's like, okay, that's okay, but you're gonna get there and you'll be fine. And then celebrate me when I do get up. Even if it's the one time I text her, I was like, yo, I cried all morning, but I'm up now, I feel like I'm gonna go cook something. She's like, yes, like, just empower me. And I feel like that's why we need to learn these things. Like, when we hear a friend is going through something, at least look it up, do some type of research to see how you can be available for that friend. And we definitely need to keep having these conversations, because a lot of us are committing suicide, or we are doing things, we're living toxic lives. Like, our whole culture right now is people pretty much doing drugs, drinking to inebriation, like all that type of stuff. Like, these people are hurting. And I think somebody made a joke about it before, it was a meme or something, like, yo, Future is really, all his music is a cry for help, and we just in there getting faded to it.
For real.
Like, so I think we do need to listen in, even when people are they're rapping about certain stuff. It's okay to be like, yo, you good? Is this your story, or are you using somebody else? You know what I mean? So I think it's really important. And when you said that you had to look at your parents as human, this summer when I was going through this depression or whatever, like, I couldn't create anything. So we did this because I needed to create something, even if it wasn't words or poetry or anything like that. But people weren't texting me. And you mentioned that earlier. You was like, how are you this motivational person? You know what I mean? And it's not always giving back to you. So like, all summer, like, I just went through a phase where before I was texting people like, you know, just sending them, I love you, you know, I hope you have a great day, queen, you know, and stuff like that, just motivational stuff. And then when I started going through stuff, I scaled back from everybody. Nobody was texting me. Like, I had probably a handful, I can't say nobody, it was a handful of people just texting me, checking on me as a person. Not saying how I speak to my soul, doing none of that, just checking on me. And that really, I really held my friends to such a high standard that I was like, dang, like you really didn't hit me up. Like, do you care? So that's just where I'm at now. Like, I've had conversations with people and you know, just going through that. But one thing that my mom does, when she calls me, she'll say, how's everything going? And I automatically will say, well, speak to my soul's doing good. I'm creating this, that, and third. And she's like, okay, that's nice. How's Evita doing?
Right.
So it's just like, I want to have those authentic conversations with my friends where it's not always business. Can we not talk about business for a second? And if I'm always talking about business, then tell me, let me know, so I know how to like just be me and give you me. So yes. It's something.
It's hard when people. I've taken it as the like your purpose. Like you're unfortunate that is your purpose. Where your art, like my logo is literally me wanting to help people.
Right.
Like I'm like you're literally put here for that reason. Like you like Martin Luther King had to give up his life to give to people. Like and. It's unfortunate. It's like it's heavy as the head that wear the crown. Like you're the person that you were brought here to shepherd these people and lead. And I look at myself like that, and it's like listen. Who does the go-to guy go to? You go to yourself.
Right.
Like you need, and it's linking with other people that understand your gripes. Because Diddy can't talk to certain people because like they not gonna understand what he means. They like you Diddy. Like what problems can you have?
Exactly.
And you come to a point you're so lucky to have Solis because she empowers you and she gives you that energy, and that's what my partner does as well. Like she gives me, like she lets me empty my cup, and it's like you said, those days like you need somebody to cheer you on them days,
little stuff,
right? And then when you not feeling all yourself, she rub your head and make you feel good. Like no, it's okay. Like you're like. She gotta remind you who you are, cause you are great in a sense, but it's like sometimes I gotta get reminded, like, yo, step back into your throne,
like, confirmation, It's needed. So yeah, I definitely understand that. Like, it's hard, and I'm learning, cause this is still a journey for me. So I'm still learning. Like, I'm not always going to be the best friend, but I'm trying to learn how to do that, and I'm learning that there are certain people that I can go to about certain stuff. So maybe there is a friend that I could talk to and ask for, you know, can you help me with this? Or I feel like I'm kind of lacking here. Like, how did you do it? You know what I mean? You can't have those conversations with everybody. You can't expect certain things from everyone either. So I'm learning. It's a journey. It's a stressful one.
Talk more about this beautiful piece of art right here. I love it too.
So this is our Black Excellence wall. So we have all types of people that have inspired us. Some of our family, we up there a few times. I got my son up there. Like people that are just out there killing the game right now. And as I said, like I needed to create something. Like I was so down pretty much all summer, and I was just like, I want this wall. I want to do a wall, and I kept saying it, but I wasn't doing it. Okay. So she actually came home with like all of the stuff, like all of these pictures of the people. She was just asking me who I liked or whatever, and then she threw people in there that she liked as well, and we just started to put it together. And I mean, eventually we want to like make it way bigger than this, but we just kept adding people on, and it's just something that just inspires us for us to look at people that, you know what I mean, have done great things, or even our own accomplishments. Like this is the playbill for Purple Crops with Blue Skies, and that was like our first show that we co-directed together. So like, you know what I mean, it's just something to remind us of how great we are, how great we can be. And like I play around. I have my son thinks Uncle C, look, he thinks Bob Marley is his uncle, and he thinks Michael Jackson is uncle. So he calls Bob Marley Uncle Bob, and Michael Jackson, Uncle Jackson. And the reason I did this is because like I really feel like these people are my tribe. Like I don't feel like I'm far off from them creatively. So I know that I belong there. I've met a lot of people on this wall already. I've met Spike Lee, I met Lauryn Hill, and these people told me, I look up to them, they told me I was dope. So it's just like, nobody can tell me nothing, right? So I recently, I'm I think it's dropping soon. There's a song I'm on for DJ Active with Common, and that's somebody I always looked up to. So like, yo, when you speak something into existence and you believe in it and you actually put in the work, like all of it's gonna happen. So I feel like I deserve to be on this wall as much as everybody else.
I'm surprised y'all didn't put yourselves like right dead in the center.
You know what? Actually, this wall started off right here. So we was in the center.
Okay.
I probably didn't really have my centering right because I'm, you know, going through. But yeah, it started off here, and I built around it, and yeah, we just keep adding things. Some people that we've worked with, like choreographers, people that was in our play, you know, they're all up there. So
what's next for Speak to My Soul?
I am actually releasing the book in October. The Speak to My Soul, Montage of Voices book. After every show, somebody comes up to me and they're like, "Do you have these so I can print it out?" And I'm like, "Yo, I want my chill." So I thought that it was just time for me to actually let people be able to take it home, because when it is performed, it's so much coming at once. I feel like if people really had the time to look and see what we're talking about in there, it would make a world of a difference. And I think the book is going. I know the book is going to be very, very influential. Okay. So that's going to drop in October. I'm working on another special project that's going to drop in October as well. That's going to be like basically a thank you project for everybody that supported me. We're going to start dropping new merchandise. This is me and my wheels turning. Like I haven't done anything in a year, so
you got a lot backed up in your mind that you got to push out.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm always taking, you know, workshops. We're doing workshops. So Lisa and I started a program called Soul Charisma, and it's really, we're working on a lot of the paperwork right now, but it's going to be for the kids, and it's really dope. And yeah, if
there's any way that I can contribute, help out, I'm here. Like I'm mobile. Like listen, especially like I've been in my mind. I've been like looking for people, especially like yourself, where you're building your own brand, and we're all building our own thing, but we can collaboratively come together. Like even something in the winter's coming up. We can't do nothing for back to school right now, but in the winter come up, I want to put like a collective together where we can all go downtown for like for example, I'm putting my son old toys and packaging them up and like giving them out to like kids.
Gotta go.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, you don't play with them anyway, so that's gonna go. But I want to put together with people that I know that are building their brands, and it'll be a way for us to all put ourselves out there and grab some attention to our own personal brand. But still, the main purpose is to help the people.
Exactly.
So we'll be in talking and we'll be doing all that stuff. I don't know if you want to give a quick little thing to let them know, like something you spoke about, like I don't know if she freestyles for free.
If I freestyle for free.
A little quick something to let them know, like, yo.
Alright, he got me out here freestyle. I don't freestyle, this is written though.
What's the one you spoke about earlier? You said you work for DJ.
Oh, the hip. So he likes this joint that I did, and it came from the play, but I've never actually spit on it because I wasn't ever comfortable with putting my poetry over a beat. Like it just was like, oh, I don't want to be a rapper. Right. So yeah, I wrote this. I mean, it was already written, but yeah, I just threw it. I'm never pressed by impressions. I've been flexing these lessons and I'm hexing these lessons. They are killing my brethren. We are sexing these weapons, making seeds of oppression. Lesson our souls are dying slow from ignorant reverence. Somebody say church. Water the wine flow. I'm moonwalking on liquidated minds though. Give me that Mike Jack, I Billie Jean for ya. I thrill her with the Neverland, fulfill a dream for ya. I murder every beat I'm on, I make a scene for ya. I scream for ya, that's Janet though. Damn, the flow so poetic, justice no control. Damn, the flow so hip-hop soul. I get my flow from hip-hop pros. I used to love her and it's common. I spit till I get the diamond. I commit like perfect timing. Metaphor, her love for rhyming. Now I hitting both for shining. Skater billboard cause we grinding. Wasn't listed, now I'm signed in hip hop. Haters bubbles about to get popped, I'm with pop. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. I put the miseducation on to show you what could be. And if it is black, then excellent is what it should be. I'm tired of seeing my people dying in hoodies. I'm out on the beat like Goody CeeLo defeat when the hood free. Unified until the hood free. Hip hop, so it speaks to my soul. So, yeah.
Hey!
So, I wrote that. That's hip hop, so that's going to be a part of this new project. But, yeah.
I like the breath control. I see it.
Yeah, it's a little struggle. It's not the same as spoken word. Like, you spoken word, you could take a 20-minute pause and then be like, damn, sis, that's deep.
Right.
That's deep. I'm like, oh, I'm really taking a break. So, yeah, it's different, but I'm excited.
On that note, I don't have to tell everybody where you follow her. It's gonna be like either over her head or below. I'm gonna put it in there. Like, so follow her, support her, and let her know like if you need any help, if you have any ways to support, or if you need help from her. Like, because remember, this podcast was never about replacing therapy. It's an alternative where people share therapeutic stories. And thank you for listening.